Alright, so here we are deep, balls deep, in the homosexuality debate. What a boring debate amongst the scholars. Not. You know, it's not a boring debate, I guess. It's actually quite riveting. It's just that it deals with some, personal stuff. But all I want to do is point out this scripture. It's an awesome scripture because no one ever talks about it. And I love scriptures like this because it makes people uncomfortable. It's kind of like when David and Jonathan get together and one of them's undressing in front of each other and kissing each other. And they're like, that's not gay. I love doing that because it pisses people off and it makes them uncomfortable and they're all squeamish. Anyways, so this here is Matthew 19, 11 through 12. And Jesus replied, "Not everyone can accept this word, but only those to whom it has been given." Right there, Jesus is telling us what I'm about to say won't be accepted by everyone. Only a special few. And he goes on to say, for some are eunuchs because they were born that way. Others were made that way by men, and others have renounced marriage because of the kingdom of heaven. To serve the kingdom of heaven, probably a better way of saying that. The one who can accept this should accept it. So he knew he was saying something controversial, is what I gather from that. And it's still controversial to this day, amazingly. No, it's not amazingly. I'll get into that a little bit later here. Obviously what I want to point out here is in this he mentions eunuchs that were made that way by men. That is castration, where they cut the balls off. The third one he mentions have renounced marriage because of the kingdom of heaven. We're talking about people serving the church, clergy, whatever. The first one he mentions, eunuchs because they were born that way. Now he's not talking about the 0.1% born with genital defects. That's not what he's talking about. You think that was a big problem that day? No. He's talking about gay people. And furthermore, through history, we now know that many eunuchs had fully functioning penises and balls, and they were eunuchs. They were still considered... See, one of the problems here is this lack of a word to describe an actual gay person. It's like it doesn't exist in biblical times the way that we understand it today. So it's very tricky, and it's a big mess trying to sort through all this stuff. But it doesn't matter. I'm sliding all that crap away because it doesn't matter. Jesus tells us here in Matthew 19, 11 through 12, what gay people are, what they need to accept, and move on. Which, ironically, after years of, like, when I was growing up, man, I prayed all the time, complained all the time, I want to be straight, blah, blah, blah. And, God's probably sitting there going, just shut up. You got to play the cards you're dealt. So, it's right there. It couldn't be more clear, in my opinion. And it says here, typically a eunuch is defined as a castrated male. This is incorrect. Castration means to remove the testicles that were already there or emasculate. If all eunuchs were castrated males, then why would Jesus say that some were born that way? A eunuch is a man who has no desire or ability to have sexual relations with a woman. Now, the rest of it here, it almost doesn't even matter because not everyone's going to accept it, like he says. I guess he knew what he was talking about because he just says right there, not everyone's going to be able to accept it, so just don't even try. But I still like throwing it in people's face, of course. But I suppose my real reason in doing this video is because it sort of opened my eyes to why this country is where it's at right now. It's a maybe world, definitely country in this case, because if you think about it, our politics and our faiths have us hating each other. And it's not just politics, it's religion too. I live here in Oklahoma, and there's a church on every corner. Every corner. And it's pretty bad when I think you could probably save more souls by having them go to a bar than a church. And you could probably get more done as a country if we just abolished the entire federal government and had 5-year-olds run it. Because they wouldn't get anything done. Brilliant. That's the point. And it's always so frustrating that people, if someone invites me to church, I'm like, nigga, please, I ain't doing that. Because, unless it's like a really weird church that actually talks about issues that matter. It drives me crazy when I go to any church. I'm just sitting, what is he talking about? Now he's on thou shalt not kill. I think I got that memo. Year 1, church 1. And they're still talking about the same stuff over and over again. I'm sitting there just getting mad because I'm sitting there thinking about, wait a minute. Why are they bashing the 2 gay people probably sitting here? Meanwhile, we're killing thousands of people over in Iraq and no one gives a shit. No one in this congregation gives a shit. And the preacher's not up there saying, you know what, you're killing people. Did you know that? Before you get all high and mighty on your high horse about abortion, why don't you look at this? No, they don't care. Well, they look at the lives they're destroying with a stupid war on drugs. No, they don't care. That's not important. But we're going to condemn homosexuals. That little 5-year-old, he knows he's gay and he's going to hell, and we got to attack him. It's just, all of it just drives me crazy. Everything. Politics, religion, it's all screwed up. But more importantly, it's not. It's what it wants to. It's whatever they want it to do. They want it to divide us. They want to keep us hating each other, at each other's throats. Because when they pit us against each other, that's how they garner power. And so, like this issue, politics, I see the same things every single time. And that's sort of what I think is the brilliance of Ron Paul's message and how I sort of apply it to my faith now. And I realize that I have no, like even T-Mott. I don't have anything against T-Mott. He can believe whatever he wants to believe. I'm just sharing information as I see it, and maybe, who knows, maybe I'll convince someone that they're wrong or whatever. And I'm engaging in a dialogue with him. But I have absolutely no political or religious, moral reasons to hate, dislike, disown, separate myself from him and his followers, and put up a group and a coalition to protest T-Mott outside of his house. Hey, shut them. It's just, all of this stuff is just sent to divide and conquer. That's what they're trying to do. And so I look at this issue, and I suppose that's why I'm bringing it up, because I'm trying to tell him that, look, churches don't even need to make a ruckus. Can you describe this ruckus? Out of this issue. It should be, like if you're at church, they should be like, oh, by the way, between 1 to 3% of you in the audience are going to be gay. And this is what you should do if that happens. And you're welcome. That's it. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. And I always come back to the percentages because I think it puts it in perspective. It's not like half the population's ever going to be gay. Then suddenly we're not going to have any people. That cracks me up. But anyways, so this is just one thing I like to throw out there. Another one you can do, like I was saying earlier, I think I said it in this video. I don't know, I did a couple of retakes late at night, is David and Jonathan. That's a good story to scare people. The David and Jonathan story, that one's great because it could not be a gayer story if it tried. At one point, I think it's David. I'm trying to figure out how to. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've gotten into this debate before, but it's been a while. I want to say he completely undresses in front of Jonathan. And I think he kisses the ground, but I want to say, I think he kisses the ground. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff where Saul calls him basically a faggot. That's basically what he calls him in modern day terms if you read it right. And there's just all kinds of stuff in there, and it's like when you start reading that, it opens your eyes and you realize how the King James Bible even a lot of the interpretations they were looking for, oh, that's homosexuality. They were looking for it when it wasn't really as clear as they wanted it to be. They wanted to attack it. And so when you start getting into that, it changes your perspective on a lot of this stuff. And of course, they have it ingrained in their heads that people who try to change this stuff, they're the devil, you know, and that keeps us divided. So then we keep fighting, we keep bickering. And so the reason I'm bringing all this up is to tell anyone who's listening to this who thinks that homosexuality is a sin, I'm giving you a way out. I'm giving you a way that you do not have to judge and hate homosexuals. And you can look at it in its proper context. Maybe 1 to 3% of the population who are going to have sex with people of the same sex. And you should probably want them to get married. Now, in terms of your faith, you should, but I mean, if marriage is good for you and your heterosexuality, wouldn't it be good for, see? But anyway, it doesn't matter. Do whatever you want to do. This is not G for T. This is Fat Libertarian. See ya. Wait. See ya.